Hi folks, and welcome back to the plot. I tell you what, I've got a bit of the Monday blues today. You know, it's been a really gorgeous blue sky day. Look at a little cloudy now, but there is a bit of blue sky, and I've just been cooped up indoors working all day, and I've only got maybe an hour down here. You know, I've just managed to sneak in an hour, and I'm just going to try and get a few bits done, and I thought I'd share it with you because it makes me feel better when I get the camera out. It really does. Let me just show you what I've got. Seeing as I really don't have long, I thought I'd probably just do a bit with the nursery stuff, you know. I do still need to support a few of my chili peppers as well, actually, but I thought maybe I'd just plant out some salads, some greens. Oh dear. I just cannot believe how bad these look, and it always shocks me how camouflaged the little caterpillars are. Getting to a good size on these savoys. These were my winter cabbages. I just took my eye off the ball. I had these in the greenhouse, and I just thought they'd probably be okay, and they're clearly not. So what I'm going to do is get the caterpillars off here, and then put it back under the netting. If this is a problem you have, it takes a little while to get your eye in, but they do like to just kind of go on that main stem, like right in the middle of the leaf, or what used to be a leaf. Anyway, there's another one just behind it. Look, they're so well camouflaged, these things. They're designed for this. So I'm going to take those off the plants, and hopefully, when I put this back under the netting, we'll just give it a week to see if there's new growth and whether or not it's being nibbled by the caterpillars or not, and then I'll put them out in the beds. There's no point in me putting them out like this. I'm going to wait until we have a bit of a better idea whether or not they're going to survive or not. This does feel quite futile, to be honest. Wow. Absolutely minuscule caterpillar on here. You know, is this worth it? I don't know, but I'm gonna give it a go anyway. Just give these, just seems so ridiculous saying, give these guys a second chance. And I've treated them so poorly, and what I think will be on the cards tomorrow is a trip to the garden centre. I always used to feel a bit like going to the garden centre was cheating, you know, but I know Tony C. Smith does it all the time. And you can't argue with the results. I think sometimes if you miss the little window for sowing seeds, I think it's probably too late to sow more wintering cabbages now, isn't it? Is it? I don't know. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. But we're kind of due a garden centre visit anyway, and we might get some plug plants for flowers, for the kind of pallet collars at the back for Jess's old bed. So I think I will probably pick up some savoys there tomorrow as well. That's the plan anyway, but we'll give these a go just in case, eh? Just in case. There's lots of hoverfly larvae on here, which is nice. If these plants survive, it will be a minor miracle. I've seen a lot of people get quite severe pigeon or bird damage on their brassicas, and they do bounce back. So, you know, it's not completely outside the realms of possibility that these will be okay. I'm just trying to go through kind of systematically, cell by cell, making sure I look at each plant. I mean, these are quite root bound as well, so they've not got much of a chance, have they? I think they're clear. It's actually surprising how few caterpillars there are. They're trying to make a daring escape, but it doesn't take that many to just completely obliterate your crop, so just remain vigilant at all times with these guys. I'm only too aware how kind of preposterous this quote-unquote nursery area is, I keep calling it. It's a bit of a, way, good job kicking the greenhouse, that's just what you want. Calling it a nursery is, well, doing it slightly more. Oh my goodness, something's eating all the swede as well. Oh, this is not really working, is it? Something has, also this label has been completely snapped. But all the swede over here, there's a few, I can see a flea beetle on here. There's some flea beetle damage, which is to be expected. But look at the way all these tips have been taken off. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. I can't see any radicchio germination, which isn't a surprise because never been able to do that before. Do have some Amara kale. It's a shame, the swede germination was quite good. And Actually, oh, this is good news though. This is Savoy. I didn't know that I'd sown some Savoys, so all is not lost with the Savoy cabbages. We might just have some really late ones, but I don't know what is likely to have eaten that swede, folks. Any ideas? Is that a bird? Do you think a bird has just landed on this netting and a pigeon has gone, well, I could just land on this. It doesn't really keep me out. Oh, it could be that, couldn't it? Oh, what a bother. I'm leaning towards probably forsaking this like nursery idea for the time being. I guess I could, if I could raise the netting up maybe, I could just stick some wood in the corners and oh yeah, I should probably do that, shouldn't I, rather than just giving up on the idea of sowing for a few months. I could do direct sowings, but if anything's just getting in there and eating it straight away, then it'll eat the direct sowings as well. But the whole reason why is it was a trade-off, you know, between having 2 completely full greenhouses full of growth or having a potting area. It was a bit of a last-minute thing. Fortunately, cucumbers still looking more or less okay. You know, they're still alive. Let's have a little look for any more damage. I can still see 1 or 2 on here, but the key thing is the new growth is by and large free of spider mite. On the melons that have come out, this new growth was just completely and utterly webbed. It was all webbing and it was all full of them, and most pests will kind of target that new growth because it's where all the fresh delicious nutrients are. But the tips of this cucumber now looking pretty clean and free, and all I want to do is just be able to keep them going a while longer so that at the very least the small fruits that are on here at the moment will come to fruition. I can't see it spreading throughout the tomatoes or anything like that, touch wood. So I think it's just the early signs, but the early signs are good, I would say, which is good, which is nice. It's a relief, definitely. There's quite a few sungold just in here, ready to harvest. I might have some of those today. And look at these, black moon. They've really darkened. They're looking pretty ripe. I'm going to see if that's ready or not. Now, I tell you, I'm not 100% sure. It's got a little bit of give. The darker tomatoes, they do seem a bit tricky to get the ripeness right. I'm not going to eat this now because I've been spraying all sorts in here. I want to give it a proper wash, but I just wanted to show you that has got to be one of the most gorgeous tomatoes I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure this is the Black Moon, unless it was mislabeled. I could just look at it all day. That is gorgeous. Really, really cool. The other thing I should mention as well on spider mites, I've spent a lot of time looking through the peppers, and thankfully, touch wood, I mean big time touch wood, I'm praying that the spider mites haven't really, I haven't seen a single one in there, no webbing, no nothing, but I'm hoping that they are still not in there and they haven't taken a hold. I'm in a bit of a, I don't know what to do, don't know whether I'm coming or going. I really don't actually know what most of these salads are. These are the ones, I mean that looks a bit spinachy, but with the redness, I'm not sure. I'm just going to find a few places and stick a few out and see what happens. Better than just leaving them to languish in these. I've spoken a little bit this season about this Charles Dowding tray, and I must say one of the things I really like about it is the shape matches most dibbers, and when you go up a size, the dibbers just they're not the right size, because, or they're the right size but they're not the right shape, because a normal dibber is a circle and obviously the tea trays are kind of square, and it's perfect because you get a little bit more extra room, but it does mean that it's just a bit awkward because nothing's quite gonna fit. You know, you end up with a circle hole and a square little cell, whereas these ones, they're just perfect. They just match a dibber. So you literally just pop them in. That's it. That's all you need to do. Scrape the soil back a little bit, scrape back your mulch, maybe try and get it in a straight line if you're that way inclined. And they literally just pop. It couldn't be easier. That one's maybe a little bit deep, but these Charles Dowding 60 trays are quite good for this, I think. I'm hoping that a bird doesn't just come along and nibble all these. I tend to normally, with my salads, let them get to a bit of a bigger size before planting them out, but at this stage in the season, I'm sort of like, oh, just chuck it out, you know, we'll see what happens. I'm not particularly, you know, on top of a lot of this stuff at the moment. So I just, rather than letting these go to bolting or not getting enough water, let's just stick them in and see how they go, you know. Maybe if I was feeling really organised, I could pot some of them up into bigger sizes, but I just can't be bothered, to be honest. It's getting towards that point of the season where it's just sort of like, you know, everything is looking really good, and it's just so easy to take your foot off the pedal and just admire what you've done and be content with it. And I've got some really big stuff on the horizon that is going to solve a lot of these problems, so we'll see how these go. I had a little wander around looking for other places to sneak some little bits in the bed, and I thought it would be really nice to put some in this little spinach bed in the pallet collar. And the mistake I've made before with these no-dig beds is I've got a really thick layer of manure on here, and I don't think I've planted deep enough. So the roots haven't gotten into the soil, and they've just got into the manure. It's been a bit too rich for them. So this time around I'm putting them in really deep, and it was only about, I don't know, 10 minutes ago I was saying I had a bit of the Monday blues, and I didn't feel amazing. You know, it's been an okay day. It's just one of those where you're sort of a bit like, a bit meh, you know, like your mood is a bit meh. It's not awful or anything. You haven't got the get up and go. I haven't got the get up and go that you normally have, and it's only taken about 10 minutes of some blue skies, fresh air and sunshine, and getting my hands in the dirt, and you know, I just feel the relief of it. It's just so, it's like grounding, isn't it? You know, it's just nice. It's just nice. It's days like today when the garden just really helps. And it's you know, I've had allotments for coming up to 4 years now, and it's a lesson that I am still learning. You know, when you're feeling a bit rubbish and you're asking the question, oh, can I be bothered to go to the plot? You know, like, is it worth it? I've only got an hour. Is it actually going to make me feel any better? Yes. 99% of the time, yes, it will. Just go out and do it. Even if you've only got half an hour, you know, and you'll know as soon as you get there whether or not it's going to help you or not. And 9 times out of 10 for me, it really does. Let me show you where I just put these in. Looks a little preposterous. I'm really happy with these parsnips, actually. I know they're still coming along, but they look really healthy, really nice, green, healthy signs, good signs. And yeah, here's the spinach. You can see, I'm assuming this is spinach, like stressed out spinach. And you can see just how deep I've had to go to get it into the soil instead of into the mulch. But I'm sure they'll adapt if something doesn't come and just pluck them out straight away. That's not too bad. Look at this, though, just next door. Anyone got any tips or ideas about why this gooseberry has died back, looking really, really sad? The two behind it, either they haven't fruited, or any fruit that did come immediately got eaten by birds. Not too sure, but it's just been really nice. I've been getting the occasional like wafting of the sweet peas there. I know that a lot of people, they see gaps in their beds and they really hate it. But I always, I quite like a gap in the bed because it gives you a bit of flexibility, you know, to stick something in the ground. There's quite a few gaps over here as well. I mean, those two, they're going to be quickly consumed by the squashes, but there is some room around there. So I think it's always nice to have a little bit of breathing space. And so long as it's not like chock full of weeds or it's not making your life more difficult, I think it's good. It's good, isn't it, to have a few spaces in the beds here and there. The sweet corn's looking okay. I did lose one in the storm, actually. Well, it fell over anyway. I propped it back up. And the celeriac has really grown over the last few days, as well as all the weeds in here. I only just weeded this. Pretty relentless weeds on here. But, oh, we've just got the first tassels coming as well. Pretty sure that's the first one. That's nice to see. Back at the nursery with the stragglers, and I've just remembered Past JB has not only sown some Savoy cabbage, just in case, which I was very pleased about and didn't remember doing, but underneath the sad Savoy, there is, in fact, another tray of compost ready to go, so I can transplant some of the lettuce from this little quarter tray. This one, I'm pretty sure, is the Valmain, which is a really nice cut and come again. And it's the one all of the pigeons have had, so I can just transplant this straight into here, and that's gonna be amazing. Oh, this is kind of wet and gross. Not wearing the right clothes for this today. Just like that. This one is full, and not only is this full, I'm ready to just be popped in. like so, you might also be able to see stick. I've got a stick in there. So this is just giving it a bit of height, and now birds won't be able to just land next to this and peck away to their heart's content. Oh, that squash plant over there looks like it's definitely ready for the compost because it's just powdery mildew, which is a bit of a shame. Definitely a few shames here, but I'm feeling much better for it. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you ever so much for watching, and an extra special thank you to my Chili Pepper Deer patrons, Tony, Bill, Pam, Louise, Michael, Mel, Denise, Socks in the Garden, and Craig. Hopefully I'll see you again in the next one.